In this video, we're going to talk about leading through active listening. So if you're somebody who struggles with having conversations and being present, not just jumping in all the time, not being stuck in your head, not constantly worrying what other people are thinking of you while you're speaking with them, stick around because I want to talk about a few practices that have helped me become more present and become a better listener. Hey, I'm David. I help high-achieving entrepreneurs continue to grow without sacrificing their lifestyle. If you want to learn more about delegation, finding freedom in your week, quarterly planning, stick around on this channel because I make more videos like this every week. There are so many distractions that we face today in fully being present with other people. Of course, the phone or the Apple Watch is an obvious one, but we live in such a busy world that it's a common struggle to really be able to slow down, be present, and truly listen to the people that we're speaking with. Plus, when we're in a conversation, we get stuck in our heads, we're thinking about what we want to say next, we're distracted by our technology, and ultimately, we don't really give people that true feeling of being heard. And we've all had that experience before. Maybe you had a grandparent or a friend who moved away that anytime you are with them, you can tell that they truly are listening to what you're saying, and it feels amazing. So being an active listener in a busy world is a superpower, which can help you connect with other people, it can help you build relationships, and it actually can help you lead teams or other people in the projects that you're working on. So I just wanted to give you a few practices that I've found that have helped me as a coach and as an entrepreneur to be a better listener. Now, one of the first things that prevents us from being a great listener is we don't actually fully show up to the conversations that we're in. We go to the coffee shop, we jump on the Zoom meeting, we arrive home, and it's almost like our body's there, but our mind was left behind. It was left in the previous frame, the previous conversation. And so one thing we can really do to begin to become better listeners is to let ourselves fully catch up and become present in the new situation that we're in the new context that we're in. And what that means is making mindful transitions. Maybe it's going from morning with my coffee mode into now I'm having meetings with coworkers mode. Maybe it's when you arrive home at the end of the day and you're still in work mode and suddenly your spouse wants to have a conversation about what's happening with the family and the kids. And it's almost like it's really tough to make that transition from one mode of being to the other. So the first practice is to pay attention to those transitions and to use them to your advantage. Use a song in the car on the way home. Use a moment of, sitting down on the couch at home when you get home from work to just ground yourself in your new space. Figure out some way that the transition can work for you to actually make you more present in the new situation or context that you're in. One thing I like to do is I like to become aware of my surroundings. If I'm in a coffee shop, whereas I was just in my car, I like to notice things about the store. Who's here? What is the barista serving today? What does the light look like coming through the window? If we can start to pay attention to our surroundings, it can help bring us back into the present moment, which makes us more able to listen to the person that we're speaking with in the next conversation. Sometimes when you're talking with somebody, you are so excited about affirming what they're saying or sharing a similar story from your experience that you crowd out their ability to really share and communicate what it is that they're hoping to share with you. And the minute that somebody takes a sip of water or stops telling their story about their vacation in Hawaii, you're jumping in to share about your vacation in a different place, or you're jumping in to finish their thought with some version of your own. And what I've found is that if we can learn to identify the areas that could have more space in a conversation and just draw them out a little bit more, right? So if there's a half-second pause before one of you is jumping in, see if you can sit back and start to allow for more space in the conversation. Give the other person some space where when they seem to be stopping the story that they're telling you, give them more space. See if they want to keep going. Keep opening that door for them so that they can share as much as they'd like before they feel ready to start getting some feedback or to hear from your experience. So as awkward as it might feel, every time you catch yourself trying to fill more space, trying to allow there only to be half-second pauses or 1-second pauses in the conversation, just play with it. What happens if there's a 3-second pause, a 5-second pause? You've got all day, right? I'm fully here. I'm fully present for you. As much as you want to share, I'm here for it. That's the attitude that you're bringing when you allow there to be a lot of space in the conversation. It's a normal tendency to think about yourself in the conversation. You might be wondering, are they accepting or hearing what I'm saying? You might be wondering if do they like me? Are they paying attention to me? It's normal to look at the other person and ask those questions about yourself. The problem with that is you're still in your own head and you're not really seeing the other person. You're not really truly finding the other person truly interesting because you're paying attention to what it is that they're saying. Let's imagine that you have taken a moment in the car before meeting with a friend. You're now in the coffee shop and you're grounding yourself in the surroundings you're in, and you're having a conversation with somebody and you're giving them some space. And your friend mentions that, hey, after this meeting, they have to go see their parents because there's been some health stuff going on. And because you're not truly listening to what they're saying, you miss this moment and you never really talk about what that person just brought up. You move on to how your friends have been doing. And then a few weeks later, you hear from your friend that their parents are in the hospital. Now, this is a dramatic version of this story, but we miss details about the other person that we're speaking with all the time. They're sending us signals of, I just came from my son's baseball game, or I've been thinking a lot about changing careers. And we don't always listen enough to pick up on these signals that people are sending us to follow that further and actually hear more about somebody. And so the third thing you can do as a practice is to truly listen to what somebody is saying and truly find it interesting. If you think about any conversation as a way to understand somebody else better, to understand their internal world, knowing that everybody has a different experience of life than us, and we can learn so much from them. We can learn how they see the world. Even somebody with a completely different range of interest to you, or even opinion from you, is a very interesting person to learn from because they see the world differently. So by finding everything somebody says interesting is a great way to truly tune into the conversation. Why did they say it like that? Why did they mention their family when they brought up that story? Why are they keep bringing up their cat? Maybe I should be asking about their cat because they keep bringing it up in conversation. Maybe that will light them up. There's so many ways to truly hear the other person and find it interesting, just like you would be reading a story or a book. The people around us are what I think to be the most fascinating way to spend your time, is to really learn about somebody by seeing what they're saying for what it truly is. Becoming a better listener is not something that happens overnight. We have to constantly remind ourselves of some of these practices while we're in the moment. We have to catch ourselves. And I'm wondering, do you have any practices that you put in place? Are there things you struggle with? I would love to hear more about that in the comments below. So drop a comment, feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, we'll be back again soon with another video. Thanks.